नमस्कार आपण समस्त को यही भिडियो बहुत बहुत स्वागत। आज भिडियो में आप सहित +3 थर्ड सेमिस्टर पॉलिटिकल साइंस ऑनर्स कोर पेपर 5 रो यूनिट 3 हिस्टोरिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ मॉडर्न गवर्नमेंट 2 रो किछि 1 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन आंसर आपन सम शेयर करबी। वीडियो आगु को मु कहिबी जे आपण माने यार पीडीएफ टी को किपरि भाबे पाई परिबे। तो चलो स्टार्ट करिबा। देश गिव्स राइज टू कैपिटलिज्म, इंडिविजुअलिज्म गिव्स राइज टू capitalism. According to the socialists, the state is not an death but a positive good. According to socialists, the state is not an evil but a positive good. The trust of death is from each according to his capacity and to each according to quantity and quality of the work put. Socialism. The trust of socialism is from each according to his capacity and to each according to the quantity and quality of work put in. The term socialism or socialist can be traced to Latin word des, which means to combine or share. Society. The word name of eco-socialism is called green socialism. The word other name of eco-socialism is called green socialism. Socialism across as a reaction against the evils and conditions generated by the Industrial Revolution. The concept of socialism or socialist thought first appeared in the famous work of Thomas More. Thomas More, what we call socialism today, was primarily a product of Marx and Engels' political and economic philosophy based on what is popular called the historical materialism. This is the practice of invading other lands and territories for the purpose of settlement and or resource exploitation. Colonialism is the practice of invading other lands and territories for the purpose of settlements and or resource exploitations. The third stage of colonialism is rightly known as the area of finance capital. The third stage of colonialism is rightly known as the area of finance capital. This colonialism started with the age of discovery. Modern colonialism started with the age of discovery. Second stage of colonialism is known as area of free trade. The process of decolonization was accelerated after the Second World War. This is a process by which colonies become independent from the imperial power. Decolonization is a process by which become independent from the imperial power. Decolonization refers to undoing of colonialism. The process of termination of colonial rules is described as decolonization. Marx's ideology starts from Hegel's dialectic. Marx's ideology starts from Hegel's dialectic. Marx himself admit in the introduction of his well-known book, This I found Hegelian dialectic standing on its head, I put off its foot, Das Kapital. Marx himself admit in the introduction of his well-known book, Das Kapital, I found Hegelian dialectic standing on its head, I put it on its foot. Marx implemented his dialectical materialism in the process of the day's development, social development. Marx predict that the last stage would be this age, the communist age. Marx predict that the last age would be the communist age. The fourth age of capitalism started in days after industrial revolution, the Europe revolution. In Europe, after industrial revolution, according to Marx, the basic of day's labor is labor, now wealth is labor. According to Marx, the basic of wealth is labor. The process of earning profits is called the theory of day's value, surplus value. Marx says that after this, the dictatorship of the proletariat will be established in a revolution. Marx says that after the revolution, the dictatorship of the proletariat will be established. Marx and Engels were wrote and published this in 1848, the Communist Manifesto in 1848. This socialism is sometimes called social anarchism. Now, libertarian socialism is sometimes called social anarchism. This is a social movement that operates through industrial trade unions. Syndicalism is a social movement that operates through industrial trades unions. This colonial is a notion of uneven structural power between areas of a state. Internal internal colonialism is a notion of uneven structural power between areas of a state. This is a term that indicates political control of the country over the other. Imperialism is a term that indicates political control of the country over the other. This was economic exploitation. Colonialism was economic exploitation. The defenders of colonialism and imperialism pleaded their case in terms of this burden, white man's burden. Colonial was the foundation of imperialism. These and these were the first to establish their colonies. Portugal and Spain were the first to establish their colonies. Questions on one words answers. Who thinks that socialism denotes both a doctrine and political movement? CEM Jodd thinks that socialism denotes both a doctrine and political movement. Half socialism and half individualism is prevalent in which country? Indian country. In his book Road to Serfdom, who asserts that socialism will regiment human thought and action and make every individual a slave of the community. Now, Bong Hayek, in his book Road to Serfdom, Bong Hayek asserts that socialism will regiment human thought and action and make every individual a slave of the community. Which kind of socialism describe the first streams of modern socialist thought in the first quarter of 19th century? Now, utopian, in which now utopian kind of socialism describe the first streams of modern socialist thought in the first quarter of the 19th century. Which kind of socialism promotes the principle of socialism as an economic principle? With significance that the means of production should be in the hands of the ordinary working people and work equity as a governing people and democratic. Which kind of socialism? Democratic kind of socialism promotes the principle of socialism as an economic principle with significance that the means of production should be in the hands of the ordinary working people and equality as a government principle. Democratic, it is also democratic. The word socialist or socialism was first used in which year? 1827. The word socialist or socialism was first used. Which magazine in 1827 first circulated the word? The Cooperative magazine in 1827 first circulated the word socialist or socialism. Who was also a utopian socialist? Saint Simon was also a utopian socialist. Which journal used and popularized the word socialism? La Globe journal used and popularized the word socialism. Thomas More Utopia was published in which year? 1516 year. Thomas More Utopia was published in which book is regarded as a first comprehensive and to some extent modern book? Socialism Utopia book is regarded as a first comprehensive and to some extent modern book. Socialism. Which political system were undemocratic? Colonial political system were undemocratic. Colonialism in which countries lasted? 5 countries. Southeast Asia. Colonialism in which Southeast Asia countries lasted 5 centuries. Name the colonies in North America was the first to liberate themselves in 1770s and 1780s. The British colonies in North America was first to liberate themselves in 17th and 18th. India has generally been concentrated which colony? Classic colony. Which conference of Afro-Asian countries was held in 1955? Bandung Committee Conference of Afro-Asian countries was held in 1955. Anti-colonial struggle picked up movement during which century? 20th century. Which dictionary defines colonialism as the policy and practice of a power extending control over the weaker people or areas? Colonies English dictionary defines colonialism as the policy and practice of a power in external control over the weaker people or areas. According to whom the seed is thesis and the plant is antithesis, its fruit is synthesis? Angel. According to Angels, The seed is thesis and the plant is antithesis. The difference between the cost of finished goods and their sale price is called what? Na profit. The difference between the cost of finished goods and their sale price is called profit. According to Marx, which class shall control the government? The working class. According to Marx, working class shall control the government. The practice of terms communism and socialism changed after which revolution? 1917, Russian Revolution 1917. Who created the Third International or Communist International content in 1919? Lenin created the Third International in 1919. Which communism was flourished in decades of 1970s to 1980s? Euro communism was flourished in decades of 1970s or 1980s. Who in the concept of socialism 1975 identifies four or core principle of socialism? Now Bhikkhu Parekh, the concept of socialism 1975 identified four core principle of socialism, according to whom they argue that colonialism was a necessary prelude to massive emergence of most of the free and independent states of the world in the 20th century, awakening of Asia and Africa and Plymouth and Perkins. The first to lose its colonies were which countries? Na Germany and Turkey. First to lose its colonies. The which empire was so vast that the sum never set in. Now the British Empire was so vast that is the sum never set in. So thank you to all of for watching this video. In this video we discuss one marks question answer. If you get the notes or PDF, so join our Telegram group, link in the description.